Hello and welcome to You Well and Friends, a podcast brought to you by Unfocused Love. In today's episode, we talk to Connor and Rob from the South East London band Castells. We talk about all things from their musical beginnings to how they coped as a band in lockdown and about their plans for the future. Hope you enjoy it. Hi everyone and welcome to You Well and Friends, where we talk about independent music with some of our favourite artists and talking all things music. So Ant, you're joining me today as always. How are you getting on?
Man, I can't hack the heat. I can't hack it.
It's quite hot.
I can't hack it at all. I've got really bad hay fever as well. So I'm sleeping. My weirdly enough, in my house, my room has got the back door comes through my room, which is both handy and not. So I was like, right, I need to have the door open so I can not sweat. And I woke up, couldn't see just from the hay fever But you can't complain. That's the thing. It's a very British thing to be like, it's too hot, it's too cold.
Yeah, complain when it rains, complain when it's sunny.
Well, this is it, man.
It never changes. Well, who are we joined by today and how would you describe them?
Yeah, no worries. So today we are joined by some guests who are hailing from South East London. They're a four-piece who have been making moves in the spheres of indie pop and alternative rock. Formed in 2017, our guests cut their teeth as a powerful quartet delivering thundering chordal riffs and sweet anthemic vocals to boot, building a name for themselves in venues such as the Amersham Arms and New Cross before releasing singles including Do You Remember, Viola and Calling Me Out, before playing top shows in top flight venues including The Garage and a personal favourite of ours at UL Moth Club. Alongside releasing their single Falling For You, they have recently released their stellar debut EP Viola, with the title track being featured on BBC Introducing and BBC Radio 1. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you Castells. How you guys doing?
Hello. How are we?
We're good,
Yeah,
thanks
good,
man.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
No problem,
you.
not a problem at all.
How are you guys dealing with the heat?
Like you, we both also have hay fever, so
Nice.
we are both struggling, but I think we're just, like you said, we can't complain too much. It's good weather.
Yeah,
Better than what
I
we've
think
been having for the past couple of months.
My personal
Exactly.
favourite is me sneezing 45 times a day,
Nice.
and it genuinely by the end of it, my eyes are like bright red bloodshot, and it just does not look good. However, like I'm a bit of a sucker for sunshine. As soon as there's a little bit of sunshine, my mood is immediately right through the roof. So
Yeah.
and just
Nice.
and rain is the worst. Sun is the best. We'll go
Just
with it.
get yourself
Yeah.
dosed up on hay fever tablets and
Yeah.
everything will be fine.
You'll be very drowsy throughout the day, but at least you'll be getting a tan. Yeah, it's fine.
Exactly.
Fall
I'm
asleep in
drowsy
the
throughout
sun.
the day anyway.
Fair enough.
How have you guys been coping over the last year with coronavirus times? Have you feel like you've picked up new hobbies or anything that you think you'll keep when lockdowns sort of disappear?
I've been playing too much Fortnite, so that I don't know if you can call that a hobby or just the child within me wanting to come out. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of gaming online with a couple of friends, and to be honest, because obviously we can't be going out, so I've been trying to find ways to keep busy at home. Obviously, me and Rob have been trying to write as much as we can. We've had to do that over Zoom now, but yeah, we're just trying to keep ourselves as busy as we can, because me and Rob both work in pubs, so throughout most of the year we've not been working, so just trying to go on way too many walks, spending way too much in Costa, and Fortnite gaming.
It's been nice though. It's been very
Yeah.
nice.
I
I
feel
think-
like. Sorry, go on, Rob.
I was just gonna say, I think with the entire lockdown thing, it really really stumped us at the beginning, because we were like, how the hell are we gonna do this? How are we gonna continue with the band if we can't play shows and we can't meet up to write?
Yeah.
And that for us was just a major issue that we couldn't really look at getting past at one point. So someone suggested Zoom to us, and I think we've probably been, I don't want to say it because I love writing in person, but I think we've probably been better writing over Zoom than we'd ever done before. Maybe because we had all the time to write and the consistency of it. Maybe we've just become better writers. But actually, the the way that you can write over Zoom, like the ability to mute each other and go off and do your own thing, then come back, and it's actually worked really well. To the point that how many songs have we written this year so far, Con?
Loads. About
20?
30? Yeah, between 20 and 30.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
At one point, we was writing about 3 a week. During the peak of the lockdown, we was writing about 3 a week. But,
Nice.
With that in mind, do you reckon you'll have a record coming out?
I think we might have to have a couple of records coming out next year.
Oh, that's the ticket. Double LP, guys. That's what it's all
Double
about.
LP. Yeah, we would love to, but I think we're just gonna, for now, just keep trying to release singles every few months. So then, never know. It maybe in a year or so we might release a bigger body of work, but at the moment it's just EPs and singles, I think.
Nice. Do you think it being over Zoom and sort of you can't really focus on much else when it's just Zoom on a screen? Do you think that's made it more intentional and harder?
Well, like Rob said, we always used to write. I would always go around Rob's and we'd just write and record a demo in that day, and then we'd take it to the guys at band practice and sort of go from there, try and make a song out of an idea rather than just me and Rob making noises. So we obviously got very used to doing that previously, but yeah, like Rob said, having Zoom there, you can just focus on that, and then because you're on your own as well, you can sort of still be just as sort of experimental on your own. Like you can go off and play guitar, come back to it, keep recording on your own. But yeah, it's been weird, but I feel like we've got the hang of it now. Other than the connection,
good workaround.
Yeah,
difficulties, but
it definitely took away some of the personality of it as well. The having two people in the same room, and when you do get something that sounds really good, you both get excited about it, and that obviously definitely pushes how well a song is written. With Zoom, the only way that Connor can ever hear what we're doing is via the screen share thing. So he's hearing my computer audio through he's hearing my speakers, so it's coming out my interface, coming out the speakers, and he's hearing it through the Mac's built-in microphone. So it's not perfectly clear. I mean, it's the internet connection as well will speed it up, slow it down. It's definitely not the best way forward, but I know there's things out there where he could hear my audio live, but it's just too much faffing around.
Yeah.
We would love to just be able to write in a room together again, but it was the ease of it at the time. He could see my screen, he could see what I was doing. Every now and then I'd send him a bounce of the file, so then he can have a proper listen and then start writing some melodies or start throwing down some vocal tracks or something, and then just bounce them straight back to me. It was always super easy.
Yeah, we were very fortunate enough to both have sort of interfaces and mics at home and setups and everything, so we could just record our part, email it over. So that definitely was helpful.
And then keep it going.
Yeah, and keep it going.
I was going to say, if you're only hearing the computer audio, it's sort of, you'd only get the impression that all of your stuff's now really lo-fi.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I would love that, it's nice to have a high quality version sent to me, because I can obviously hear the bare bones of the song, but and I can come up with melodies or guitar parts or whatever, but it's definitely nice when I hear the full bounced version of it. It's just so much clearer, and I'm like, oh, okay, the bit that Rob was sure about, which I wasn't, now I get why he was so sure about it.
Yeah, it sits more or whatever. Yeah
Definitely.
So have you had any rehearsals since being allowed to go back to doing that sort of thing? Yeah,
we've had two now. We had one literally the day that we was allowed to go back into the same room with more than two of us. That was, when was that? Was the 15th? Was it?
Yeah, 16th.
17th
like that.
17th of March. Yeah, that was our first rehearsal, and then March wasn't it?
Oh,
May.
May.
Yeah,
May, 17th
17th
May. I was
of
going to
May.
say, it wasn't that long ago, actually.
No, yeah, 17th of May, we literally, as soon as we found out that we could legally be in one room together, we all just jumped at the opportunity and just booked a room. And then we've done one more since then. It's been strange, but we don't suck as much as I thought we would. I thought going nearly a year. I mean, we suck, just not as much as I thought.
Yeah.
Does everyone
but
remember the songs?
Not
some of them. We remember
the
do
ones that
remember.
we played often.
Yeah, we
Do
remember-
you remember? Because
and because we
Ironic,
do
I
remember.
suppose.
Yeah, and because we played that one for years, but the newer ones, we wasn't quite as on the same page as each other with those ones.
you just have Connor like laughing at me because I'm the worst for remembering guitar parts, and anyway, like most of the time as well when we've gone to the studio to record these new songs, we've changed them a little bit as well. So I'm sitting there, as soon as that lead guitar part comes in, I'm just staring at the floor. Connor's laughing in my face, and so Connor's not singing by this point because he's too busy laughing at me. Then our bassist realises that Connor's laughing at me, starts laughing at Connor, and then it's just because the drummer has in-ears, so he can't hear any of us. He's just carried on.
He's
So he's just
yeah, he's fine.
just Mark by himself, just still going, and we're like, stop.
Yeah, we definitely went into like playing a few of those songs a bit too confident. We was like, right boys, we got this, we can still remember. It's like riding a bike, innit? You never forget.
Yeah.
And then we just like 3, 2, 1. Rob's in the wrong key. I'm out of tune. Like I've got the words. We were just like, okay, maybe we should rehearse a bit more.
It's like learning to walk again, I suppose, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it literally is. But it's alright. By the time we play a show, we'll be half decent. Or the crowd will be very drunk that we sound half decent.
Yeah. Just gotta hope to come on late enough.
Yeah.
I think it'll be everyone, man. Everyone will be drunk and all the bands will be shit and you'll be grand.
Yeah.
That's
everyone will love it
exactly what it's
anyway.
all about. That's exactly what it's all
Everyone,
what
and
usually
everyone you
happens
watch,
anyway.
everyone will come on stage and they'll be like, I haven't played in a little while, go easy on us, and it'll be exactly the same for everybody, and we'll be like, it's fine, it's fine, guys, don't
and
worry.
we'll come off stage thinking that was the worst show we've ever played, and everyone will be like, that was amazing.
I think people would just be happy to see some live music and hear like everyone in the room at the same time singing along and stuff. That'd be. I mean, I'm looking forward to that.
Feeling some vibrations of music for
sure.
For once.
This is it.
Looking
Like, I
forward
went to a club night. I mentioned it on the last one, but I remember we went to a club night, and just even feeling like the power of a sound system was so like foreign, but it was such a beautiful experience to have that. Even though we were all sitting down.
I can imagine that. It's
Sitting
like
down.
when you go to a gig and you can feel the bass like literally shake you, can't you? I can't wait to be in a crowd and on stage as well, but to feel that as well, it's just definitely an energy which I've missed for sure.
Definitely.
And the crowd singing the songs back, that is like insane. That feeling, like when you sit there and you go, oh, we started this in my bedroom 3 years ago. Well, do you remember 3-4 years ago? Started this writing random little notes and just hoping that someone would like it, and then now you get an entire crowd singing it back to you. It's just insane. Just a completely like bizarre feeling knowing that you wrote that and they're singing it at you, and you're like, I don't even have to sing this anymore. Half the time Connor points a microphone to the crowd because he's like, I don't have to sing.
Don't need to.
I don't have to sing anymore. My job's done.
We'll get back there, man. We'll get back there.
So let's take it back to how did Castells begin? Did you know each other from school, or did you just sort of bump into each other one day and think, oh, I could probably do music with him? Like, what?
So me and Mark, the drummer, we have known each other since we was about 4 years old. We went to nursery together, and then we both went to primary school. We went to a school in Sidcup where we're from, and I've known him since I was, like I said, since I was 4. And then me and him both went to separate secondary schools. He passed his 11 plus, I didn't. And at his secondary school, he met a guy called Robert Castellino, which is...
Who's that?
So Rob and Mark met at school, and Matt, our bassist, was sort of a mutual friend of yours, wasn't he, Rob?
Yeah, so I would have met Matt. I was actually friends with Matt's twin brother in like year 7. I'd met him via some other people. He went to a totally different school, and I met his twin brother, and me and him used to hang out. And then I found out that Matt just was a bit more like me anyway. Like he had similar music tastes and whatnot. So I actually ended up still being friends with both of them, but ended up being a lot closer to Matt. And then I realised that Matt was a bit of a music man in terms of what he wanted to do with his life, and it just kind of clicked after that. I think I'd say the first attempt at Castells was after Reading 2014, was it?
Yeah. So me, Mark, and Rob, we attended Reading Festival together. Before that, me and Mark were obviously close, and Mark and Rob were pretty close. But me and Rob never really spoke much. We know of each other, but we were never really close. And one day we was going. Mark just messaged me and was like, "Oh, by the way, I know you need a lift to Reading. My mate Rob needs a lift as well, so he's going to jump in with us." I was like, "Yeah, that's fine, that's cool." And on the way there, we just listened to bands who were playing that year, just on repeat. We was all just singing along, got all excited together. And then I think one day, one evening at Reading, drunkenly, we just decided, you know what, we all love music, we're all super close. We was all just like daydreaming of being on stage. Like the bands we were watching, we were daydreaming we was in their position, and we were just like, yeah, let's start a band. And normally when you have these bright ideas when you're drunk, it never happens. But we literally left Reading and booked a rehearsal room and went there. And at the time it was me, Rob, Mark, and our other friend Connor, just kind of jamming, mucking around. We never knew what sort of style we wanted to be, but we just wanted to see if we could get something exciting going.
We wanted to be the new 1975.
Yeah, basically. Everyone did at that time, I'm pretty sure.
They were doing it right.
Yeah, so we were just, basically every song sounded like Chocolate by 1975. So we kind of done that for a little while, and then we eventually kind of found our own sort of sound, and we had a gig coming up and we needed a name for the gig, so we were just trying to come up with some names, and we ended up picking Castells, and then we released the song Do You Remember, and
can I just say that Castells was not my idea.
So Rob's surname is Castellino, so that's where it comes from. We went through a couple of names. I don't remember all of them. I remember Bayer was one, which is a town in France. So that was one, but I don't know. We thought it was a bit too similar to Bastille or something like that. There was Bayer. There was what else was there?
Eli Banks.
Eli Banks. That was it.
Eli Banks was going to be one of our names.
So there's a road near Rob's house called Ellie Bank, and we were kind of coming up with names, and I think Rob walked past it that day and was like, "Oh, what about Eli Banks?" And it kind of was our name for about 2-3 months, and then we just decided that it sounded too much like a solo blues artist called, like
country singer.
From I don't know, Memphis or something, called Eli Banks. So we just decided not to go for that one.
I think you missed a trick there, guys, if I'm honest with you.
I think we did. We did.
Side project.
We've already discussed a side project doing country music alone, because we all love country music and think that we could definitely do something like it. Like Connor's definitely done a few little country. There's a few country Easter eggs in some of our songs.
You'll never hear them, but
if anybody does hear one, please tell us, because
there's definitely 15 out of that 30.
We forget where they are.
but we ended up going with it was, you actually suggested Crooks, but there was a band called Crooks already, a hardcore band, and I was like, well, what about your name, Castellino, because it's a cool name, and then we just kind of shortened it to Castells, And Rob was like, no, I don't want to be called Castells. And we were like, we just need a name, man. Let's just go with it.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Castells.
like, why did you name the band after yourself? You're such a knob. And I'm like, oh.
I mean, you're right, I am a knob, but I didn't pick a name.
Correct. However. Oh, dear.
Nice.
Yeah.
Probably the longest answer ever. But yeah,
that is how we became Castells.
Yeah, no, it's good to know the history of like where it all sort of started and how it grew into how it was now.
Mm-hmm.
But going back like further than that, what is your like personally your first memories of music? Because when we asked Johnny last week, it was quite interesting chatting about how he would dance around the house when he was like really young to sort of orchestral music and things that he can't really remember now, but just remembers those memories. Do you have sort of similar things to like your first, like say your first like album that you remember buying, or even the first music you remember in your memories? I don't know.
Come on, Rob, you can
I
start.
was going to say my first single was Hearsay. I've forgotten what it's called. You was in and driving you crazy. That one. Don't know. Yeah, that was my first ever single, and I had it on CD, and I played it over and over and over again because I really liked that song. But it was also the only one I had, so that was pretty much
Had to.
Yeah,
That was the real
all
reason.
I got, yeah, all I had going for me. And then my dad is a musician. He was in a band as well growing up, and he played guitar. And one day he sat me down and was like, oh, do you want to learn? And I was like, yeah, I don't know. You know, as a kid, you're like, I want to do fun things. I don't want to sit and learn something. And I picked it up and I played one chord, and I was like, that's me done. I was like, no, never doing
Completed
that again. That was annoying, boring, don't want to do it.
Your fingers hurt.
Yeah, genuinely. I'd done it for 10 seconds and I was like... And yeah, so it was after, like, maybe a year or so after that, my dad said, you know, you understand music. I can tell you understand music, so why don't you give it another go? And he basically sat me down with a guitar and said, play. Just don't leave until you've learnt some chords. I was like, oh, okay. So I did, and I learnt the chords, and then I decided that actually it wasn't that bad after all. So I started learning more chords, and then started wanting to sing, which I'm glad I never carried on with because I can't sing. But I wanted to like learn chords for songs to be able to sing to them, and then I just kind of ended up carrying on from there.
Nice.
Yeah, so mine's sort of similar actually. Well, not my first record. That was Bop by Hanson. I remember my dad brought that on vinyl actually.
Oh, nice.
And funny, Mark, because like I said before, I've known Mark, the drummer of the band. I've known him since I was 4. He used to come round, and my dad would put Bop on. Mark would pretend to play drums. For some reason, I was playing decks. Is that an instrument? Decks. Yeah,
just
like
scratching the vinyl straight away.
I would mime that, and then my other friend Will would play air guitar. So that was like my first memory of music. I mean, the first band. And the first record I bought myself was, I bought 2. I've got the Avril Lavigne debut album, which I definitely used to kiss the front cover of because I had the biggest crush on Avril. I still do. Avril, if you're listening, you know I'm single. And I also bought the Busted album.
Yeah, man.
And I found Busted and Avril Lavigne. And I was like, that's it. I'm a skater now. Literally bought myself a pair of 3/4 length jeans, a baggy t-shirt, rocked up to the year 4 or 5, whatever it was. Disco, like, yeah, I'm a skater boy.
I was going to say year 3000 is the name of the song.
Yeah. I was saying,
4, 5, I was like 3000.
Yeah, 4 or 5. Yeah, and then that's probably the first, like, those are the first records I got, and the first sort of time I fell in love with music. And similar to Rob, my dad also is a musician. He sings. He can't play an instrument, but he sings, and that's his sort of job. And from a young age, my dad's always been singing and sort of singing with me and sort of giving me tips and stuff like that. So yeah, that's sort of when I that's the first sort of musical influence that I had from my dad. And to be fair, he's still my biggest inspiration now when it comes to singing. But yeah, that's mine. That's how I got into it.
Would you say that any of those influences still, as in any of those like early influences, still make their way through into your music today, or do you think you've left behind that skater period? Or
it's weird because it's kind of like that skater pop rock is really become popular again. Like the what's that song by Olivia Rodrigo? Is that her name?
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah, the one that sounds
basically Misery Business.
Yeah, that one. That's got super popular. And then a band called Beabadoobie, they've got their kind of grungy, poppy sort of sounding.
Maybe it's coming back round again.
Definitely.
Pale Waves,
and Machine Gun Kelly's trying to do the whole pop punk thing. So it's getting there. I mean, I don't think Castells are going to turn like that. We do have during the lockdown. I'm writing a lot of songs. We never said that all the songs were good. So some of them are terrible. So and a few of them are kind of around the Avril Lavigne and that sort of early 2000s pop rock kind of sound. A few of them sound like that. I mean, I'm not sure whether they're going to be released to the world, but you know, they're there. They exist.
B-sides and demos.
Might be on a distant album somewhere.
Rarities album.
Yeah.
Deeper cuts.
Yeah.
This isn't Castells' greatest hits. This is Castells' greatest shits. That's what
Look forward to that.
That's the one.
That's exactly what it is.
How would you say your approach to writing at least has changed since the time that Castells started? Or is it much the same still?
I think we know, having played gigs and like having finally released a few songs now, we kind of know what works for us and what people like as well, and what would sound good live and all that sort of stuff. So we definitely bear that in mind. Whereas when we first started writing together, we'd obviously never played a show. We didn't know what we should sound like, and it was kind of a little bit all over the place. Every song sounded like a different genre, but I feel like we've got a bit more of a identity now. We still haven't perfected our sound. I feel like if you're this early in your journey and you've perfected your sound, then you're doing something wrong, because you should always be evolving.
Yeah.
But we I don't know, I feel like we just try and have a bit more fun with it now. We write music that we enjoy, whereas before, I mean, me personally, I would always be like, this is too this, or this is too heavy, or this is not heavy enough, or whatever. I feel like we was always trying to be too perfect, but now it's kind of, we just write music which we enjoy making and would enjoy playing as well.
Yeah, we particularly focused on, if we like this, we'll carry it on. There's often the case that we don't like something, but we will really work hard to make it something that we like, because once you've spent 3 hours on something you like, you don't want to waste that time. It's often those songs that aren't the best ones. The best ones are the ones that tend to be written within a couple of hours.
Yeah, the accident sort of ones, I guess.
Yeah, they just basically fall out. And yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's the ones that take a long time that don't tend to make the cut. But then again, we've got a couple that we've taken ages on. Like I'm talking, it's taken us weeks to get it right, and we've come back to it and back to it and back to it. And there's one or two of them that are probably one of our best songs. So it does go to show that some songs can get there if you give it the dedication, basically.
So I just wanted to ask a couple of questions about the EP that has just come out.
Mm-hmm.
How was that process? Where did you record it and stuff like that? Tell the story.
So that EP, we actually started the recording process about 2 years ago. Maybe no, probably more now. Well, definitely more. It was 2018, maybe 2019. I don't quite remember, but
So yeah, that would have been Viola. Yeah,
I think we started it at the end of the year 2018. We went to a studio called Newman Studios in, where is it, Rob?
Let's just say Weybridge.
Okay, Weybridge.
Something like that. Addleston.
Yeah.
Is
Addleston.
the actual place.
So a studio in Addleston. We recorded 2 tracks there. Viola was one of those tracks. So we've had that song recorded for quite a while, but we were just waiting for the right time to release it. We didn't want to just chuck it out to the world without having anything recorded to follow it up. We didn't want to chuck a song out and then have 8 months of not releasing anything and then blah blah blah. Well, saying that, we released Do You Remember and then didn't release anything for 3 years, but that was more a demo. Anyway, so we recorded that in Newman Studios a couple of years ago, and then Calling Me Out and Falling For You we recorded in, I think, September 2019 in I don't actually know what the name of the studio is, but the producer's called it.
I don't think he's got a name. I think it's just Andy's studio.
Yeah. So the producer's called Andy Hall. His name the guy's so great they named him twice.
That's so nice they named him twice.
Yeah.
Like that man's so lovely that he has 2 names.
Yeah, I thought you were going to rhyme that as well. That man's so lovely. He's a probably. I don't know.
He's a brother.
Anyway,
He's a brother.
So we recorded those 2, Calling Me Out and Falling For You, back in 2019, and yeah, we always knew that we were going to release them as singles, but the idea of an EP came around during lockdown, because we obviously couldn't get back into a studio. We wanted to go back in with Andy to record a few more tracks, but we couldn't do that, unfortunately. So we actually recorded it ourselves. So the final track on the EP is called Peach, and we recorded that in Rob's bedroom during lockdown. The version that we released is actually the demo version. That is the version where we wrote it. So we were basically, but we were very happy with it, so we released that version. And we thought it was quite nice because it's quite a kind of a rougher sounding song. It's a little bit, it's not punk, but it's slightly punkier than our other songs. So we quite liked the fact that it was a bit rougher recording and not quite as clean and shimmery as the other tracks. So we thought that was a good enough song to round off an EP, and so we just put our previous singles together and released it as an EP. Hopefully we can do the same with future releases as well, but yeah, we'll find out.
You will find out.
I guess is that all secretive at the moment, what's coming next, or are you just keeping your cards close to your chest?
Yeah, well, we do know what's going to happen, but we're trying to keep it a bit hush at the moment. But we're definitely, something that we can say is that we will be releasing more music before the end of the year.
Nice. And I'm right in saying that you've got a gig coming up in the next few months. Where is that? How can people get to that?
So that gig is our first official headline show. It is at the Grace, which is above the garage in Highbury, Islington. It's basically the 2 venues. It's just the upstairs one, lovely little pub downstairs, and then go upstairs to the venue. So we're really excited for that. We're even more excited because it's taking place on a certain somebody's birthday, Mr. Connor Crooks. So
birthday. Yeah,
I can't wait to see what he's going to be like on stage, because he's probably going to have had a fair few drinks beforehand.
Probably.
What's the date for that then?
The 3rd of September. Yeah.
I'm glad you know.
I realised I said it's your
Friday
birthday,
well.
but didn't tell anyone what day that is. So just assume that
Everyone
everybody
should
knows
know
when
that
you're
by
born.
now. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, Connor Crooks'
lovely.
birthday. All right, sweet. I'll be
yeah,
there.
Yeah. They definitely know that. Yeah.
it's a
I'll
good excuse to have a gig is someone's birthday, because you know that people will come then, I suppose.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
There's no excuse not to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if they don't, they're just bad friends, aren't they?
We're definitely pushing for a sellout.
Yeah, hopefully.
Nice.
I think it's
Exciting.
one. What's the capacity, Rob? Is it 120?
I think it's more than
Or-
that. I think
or
it's
140? I don't know.
140 or so.
Maybe 140. Yeah. But yeah, we're
Fingers
hoping
crossed,
to sell
eh?
that out. But, so
That'd
yeah.
be lovely to
fingers
sell it
crossed.
out.
So let's move on to your what I like to coin the what's inspired them chat. So is there any particular bands that you listen to that made you want to do music, basically? Maybe this is sort of going back to early stuff, but
Early stuff. So me and Rob have actually been in bands before. We was both in Castells. So I was in a band with a few friends. And Mark was actually the drummer. He was in the band as well. It was called All She Wrote. If you search hard enough, then I'm sure you'll dig something up online.
definitely sharing that.
Yeah, you definitely can find some stuff. I wouldn't advise it, but you can. Yeah, so me, Mark, and a few friends were in a band called All She Wrote, and we were kind of post-hardcore kind of sounding. We was into our heavier stuff back then. So we basically just turned our guitars up as loud as we could, screamed a load of rubbish into a microphone, all bought women's jeans from Primark, and just thought we were that. Oh, sorry, I'm getting emotional thinking about it. Yeah, we all just obviously thought we were a lot better than we actually were, because at the time we was about 16. So our writing wasn't the best, but yeah. So that was the first sort of experience I had of being in a band, and we was in that band for a few years until I was probably about 18 maybe, and then that's obviously when I got close to Rob, and then we decided to form Castells. But Rob, you was actually in a band as well, wasn't you? And funny enough, you was actually in a band with Matt, the bassist from Castells.
Yep, alongside Connor O'Mara, who is the lead singer of Luna Bay. We were in a lovely little kind of pop punk type British boy metal.
That classic genre.
Yeah, you know that genre. Something like that, and we had the very rock name Come Sunrise, which also you probably find somewhere if you look hard enough. Don't think you actually have to look that hard for that. But I'd say, like, due to that, I think our influences in Castells did stem from that. We've definitely all got a strong rock background. Like, we all listen to it. I mean, most of us went through a phase of listening to metal. I mean, we're all pretty broad with our genres anyway, but
Yeah.
but then I think, like, Castells is just like such a mix of like our old selves, probably the indie that was in the charts at the time. So let's be honest, everyone says it, but 1975, because they are so varied, they were doing all the right things at the time. We're definitely influenced by people like Arctic Monkeys as well, but then there's that strong, like, anthemic undertone that we were going for, that really does stem back off of, you know, like, even people like 30 Seconds to Mars, all of those big rock kind of artists that were around back in the day. It just all stems from our childhood, and Castells is probably like the weird broken mismatch of all of that. And it kind of works, so we'll just keep it going.
Yeah, definitely. It's like the resultant parts of it, I guess, which is good. So here is a bit of a tough question that we've had issues with in the past. Could you choose 3 artists? The sky's the limit, and you can collaborate with them. They could be dead, they could be alive. I mean that's kind of the 2 options, really, isn't it?
Who
Who would you choose?
Schrodinger's influence.
Yeah.
Not,
Are they
yeah.
dead or alive? Or are they in purgatory, or
Somewhere in between.
Yeah, somewhere in between. Okay, so for me personally, it would have to be Elvis Presley. I know the musical differences between Castells and Elvis, but growing up, my mum and my dad would always be playing Elvis records. They have hundreds and hundreds of sort of vinyls or CDs or cassettes or whatever it is from Elvis, and they're the biggest fans of him. So I think it would be weird if I didn't pick Elvis. And also he's the coolest guy ever from in his younger days, maybe not so much in his older days, but
other than me.
Other than Rob, obviously he's like close second to Rob in the coolest guy ever.
Thanks.
But yeah, so my personal choice would be Elvis Presley, and I'd have, not only would I like to sing with him or have him sing with Castells, I would also want to know so much about his life so I could report it back to my parents and let them know how it went. What about you, Rob? What would yours be?
Do I have to do the other two?
You do one and then we'll pick one together.
Okay. Eric Clapton, I'd say. I think he was he's still around. But he's a great guitarist, really, really powerful musician as well, and he was quite often doing multiple projects, and I just think that's something that I aspire to do as well. Just be able to work on writing music for Castells or just for myself, or I just love versatility and being able to write with other people as well. So it's always really exciting, and he was a big influence in that aspect, and I'd love to kind of like see into his brain, see what goes on, because technically I have no idea what I'm doing half the time. So as long as someone else does, then it might help me out a little bit more. But yeah, he definitely Eric Clapton, I reckon, would be one of mine.
Nice. And joint one, who's an influence?
Wait, say it at the same time. Ready? Do you reckon we got this? We got the two.
We got this.
Okay,
Are you
ready?
much of a band?
Right, okay, right. On the count of three. 3, 2, 1.
Kings of Leon.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, Leon. Yeah, Kings of Leon.
Yep.
We'll take that. Zoom delay probably helped you out there, maybe. But
Yeah. I was hoping you'd go first, but then I realised that I was the one that did the countdown. Yeah, I think for me is Kings of Leon was the first concert I ever went to. It absolutely wowed me, and they're amazing songwriters as well. They're weird, but they're amazing. You know, they have such interesting lyrical ideas, and I think they're the type who would just stay up all night just to write a song that they're not even sure works, but they'll do it anyway, and then they'll record it the next day. I think that's actually what they did for their song Cold Desert. I think they were all really pissed, and they'd been out and got drunk, and the lead singer got lost in the desert, and they found him and were like, come on, we're going to go record this song. We think it's good. And then they recorded it there and then, apparently. I could be wrong. I could be making that up.
Yeah,
but
maybe the original demo was like, help, is anyone there? That was the original demo.
I'm in the desert. It's pretty cold in this hot desert.
Yeah, I think the another reason why Kings of Leon is because they've been around for so long, and they've never really lost their sound. I mean, obviously they've got a lot more poppy, and their older stuff was a lot more like punk rock sound, but they still have a very Kings of Leon sound to every. It's probably, maybe it's just Caleb's voice, but it's difficult to be, well, I'm not talking from experience, but I can imagine it's difficult to be relevant, just as relevant now as you were 15 years ago, and there's not many bands who have released as many albums as them and stayed at that top level. And it's I mean, the only other one I can think of would be Arctic Monkeys.
Coldplay.
Yeah, Coldplay, but
Maroon 5.
yeah. Well, yeah, but they're more pop bands, aren't they? I'm talking about, like, in terms of rock and indie music, it's quite hard. A lot of artists come and go, or have like a couple of albums and then fall off. But yeah, Kings of Leon have definitely stayed at the top, and I don't think there's many artists who could do that.
Nice. Yes, that's your three. Very interesting,
Yep.
different choices as well. So,
Yep.
That's interesting. Do you have
That'd
any
probably sound like
sort
a
of
hot
bands?
mess if we all played together. Sorry.
Yeah. Can you imagine all three in the
Yeah.
same room and Castells? That would be a bit.
Yeah, that'd be a mess.
Bit wild.
I think we'd just turn ourselves off and just go, you guys just play.
Yeah. Can you recommend any artists or bands that you know that you think deserve to be highlighted and shouted out in some way, or maybe we could chat to them in future?
Yeah, we've got a few friends who are in bands. There's obviously Rob's best friend Connor, who he said was in a band before. They're called Luna Bay. They're doing really well at the moment. They've their latest single just got on Made in Chelsea, and they've been played on BBC Radio 1 a couple of times, so I just want to shout them out. And to be fair, we're very fortunate to know a lot of musicians, and we could be here for ages talking,
Shouting everybody out.
Shouting everyone out.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's so many. There's a band called The Kind. Of a girl called Jane, who me and Rob sort of met recently. Well, Rob more so.
Haven't actually met her yet because of lockdown, but like the internet
Zoom.
met. She actually started this amazing project called the 52 Songs Project. I mean, check it out if you get a chance. But it's basically just a bunch of songwriters all grouped together, and the idea is that you write a song a week for the entire year. Hence why we've been absolutely smashing it with writing, because we are keeping to that. Within the group, we've got amazing songwriters, like we've got Darla Jade, who has been absolutely killing it lately. She's been getting Radio 1 plays pretty much left, right and centre with her releases. It's amazing. She's got New Music Friday. We've got some others. We've got like Sophie Ackroyd, who's a female producer and songwriter. She's amazing. We've written a couple of songs with her lately, and
we're actually going to meet her on Friday as well.
Friday, yeah. So we're gonna do a song with her on Friday. But yeah, so there's like a huge chunk of these amazing people that we're all really become really close with. I think there's a few more. Like our gig will be we're being supported by Naked Next Door and Joshua Ziggy. They're two great artists to check out. And there's loads. We could be here for ages.
Yeah,
I want to shout everyone out, genuinely.
I also just want to quickly shout out Unfocused Love as well, because
Wow.
Yeah,
you guys are
big
there it is.
I can imagine it's,
That's what I was
it's
waiting
very
for.
difficult to get.
Yeah.
That's why you asked.
We got you.
Send us an invoice, lads.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because I can imagine it's not easy starting a label from scratch with no sort of bigger sort of investor behind you. So yeah, shout out to you guys for doing that.
Well,
Yeah,
you
well
don't know
done,
the
guys.
capital that
Keep it
Ant
going,
has
'cause
behind him.
I can imagine you're gonna. Sorry.
You don't know the capital that Ant's got behind you. So.
Oh yeah. But we yeah. So
$1
I can imagine-
million.
I can imagine that you guys, if you keep it up, you do well.
Yeah,
So
determined.
Unfocused Love, it's got a nice ring to it, Got a
Definitely.
nice ring to it.
We do try very, very hard.
Good, because it will pay off.
we'll round up this little chat with probably the most important question of all. Is what is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, good question.
I didn't want you to prepare for this one because it's a very off the cuff thing. When you're in a karaoke bar, you've got to choose straight away. You don't have a time to think.
Yeah, I know. True. Oh God. Well, last time I sang karaoke was in Amersham Arms. It was on is a karaoke night on a Thursday, I think it is. I sang a Britney Spears song, and it was Toxic. That's what I sang last time.
Nice.
I didn't know any
Baby,
of the
can't
words.
you see? I'm falling. Nope.
Yeah,
It's
so
not
that
even
was
the
that was a bundle of laughs for everyone else, I'm sure. And another good song would be "Where Is the Love" by Black Eyed Peas. I think that one's just so, just everyone just wants to sing along, because where is the love? We can all relate to that.
Have you seen the TikTok of the guy who can't work out what the lyrics are?
No.
And he just keeps going, people dying, children people dying, and he can't get it right.
Chicken people keep on dying.
Children pickle keep on flying.
Pretty sure when I sang that song, we was at a night called Face Down, which was like a rock and emo night, and that song is obviously the least rock and emo song that you can get. I'm pretty sure I got all the words wrong when I was singing it as well, even though they was in front of me, but I was way too drunk.
Yeah, I was gonna say how many red stripes did you have by this point?
Yes.
Yes, correct.
It goes well with the aesthetic of Amersham, man.
Yeah,
It's got to
yeah.
be absolute chaos, like
Yeah.
left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
Definitely. What would yours be, Rob?
Mine would be, I can't sing it because it's way too high, but I just think it gets everybody singing. It would be "Don't Look Back in Anger" by Oasis.
Yeah.
I think the whole place sings it with you, so you don't actually have to sing.
That's cheating.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's my smart way of thinking, but it's also a brilliant song.
As long as you got your Parker on and your tambourine out, then that's fine. That's all you need.
Yeah.
I actually served Noel in my job a couple of weeks ago.
Really?
What?
Yeah. He lives in the area where I work, in Maida Vale. Sorry to bait you out, Noel. I hope you enjoyed yeah, exactly. I hope you enjoyed the 2 bottles of wine, mate.
Ooh,
Oh, nice.
2. Was he by himself?
Yeah. He was indeed. So Noel,
Yeah.
come through, man. Come through
Yeah.
again.
We'll get
Come
him on
back
the
for
podcast next time.
Come back for a couple of bottles of wine.
Yeah, exactly.
Invite him
Oh, he
on
might
next
have been-
time, man.
He might have been drowning his sorrows because he knew that Chelsea were going to beat him in the final.
Oh,
I'm a Chelsea fan, so
Sorry, this is a music
podcast.
podcast, not a football podcast. I hate to interrupt at this point, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to put my Chelsea shirt on for this interview, but I didn't. I've been wearing it too much recently. I thought I'd have a break.
yeah, you can wear the full
Let
kit
him have
next time.
let him have his moment.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, so it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on and learn more about Castells.
Absolutely.
If you want to
Yeah,
catch
thanks for having
Castells,
us.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
make sure you head down to the Grace in Islington on the 3rd of September, where it's their first headline gig. Where fingers crossed it's a sellout and that it's really good and that they remember how to play the songs. So
That might be
Yeah.
important.
Nice.
yeah, thank you very much for coming on. It's been lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cheers.
Thank you
guys.
very much.
Thank you.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers.
Cheers, boys.